Hi everybody, welcome back to my mini homestead, and here is the intermediate sugar cookie that I'm going to teach you guys how to decorate. And along the way I'm going to show you how you can fix errors you might make, how to make those little seeds on your cookies, and just have a fun time with this. So stay tuned and we're going to jump right into the video and start decorating these cookies. Just going to show you, I actually have a dehydrator and this is the rack for it. So as I do my cookies, I'm going to set them on here, then I can put them in my dehydrator when I have the tray all full. But what you can do is you can put a fan on them that blows gently on top of your cookie. That'll start to harden the top of it. You can also just let them sit overnight, and by morning they will be hard enough that you can work on. Now, what I also use is I have a cup or a glass here, and I put a wet piece of paper towel in there, because I will set my icing bags in there and it stops it the icing from running out because I fold it over a little bit, but it also keeps it from drying out. And then I actually like to use these kind of icing bags. I actually wash them out and use them a few times before I throw them out. And instead of using a tip, and if I was going to use a tip, I would use the round 2. But with this one, I just cut it to where I need it to be, and then I don't have to use a tip, I don't have to wash it. So let me fill the bag up. I just take the glass, and this will fold over on the end, which is fine. I open it up, and then I just start to pour it in. I see some bubbles, let's get rid of those. I really like this red color, it's gonna look great for the strawberries. And I think I can get it all in here. If I didn't, I would put a wet washcloth or a dishcloth over top of the bowl to keep it moist inside and to stop the icing from crusting over. Sometimes I go through a lot of bowls. Not uncommon to have like 6, 7 different colors on the go. Okay, so I'm just gonna throw that in there. And now what I do is I have these, and I just love them. And I've got different colors. There's 3 different colors. So what I do is this one is a 15-second color. So I'm gonna use my pink one. And then for my other ones, which I can do, piping and things like that, then I use the purple ones. And that way, just by looking at the bag, I know what I have. So I give them a good twist. I'll show you how they go on. It's got like a little arrow there. So I put the arrow on top, and I drag that little circle part around the back and hook it over that arrow, and it just hooks on just like that. And then I don't have to worry about it. So now all I have to do is cut off the tip and start decorating my cookies. So these are my cookies. I pulled the strawberry ones out, but I wanted to show you. I actually baked all of these cookies yesterday. And so once they had cooled down, I put them in this container with a lid on it so that the cookies don't dry out. I'm really careful around my cookies that they don't dry out. I just think they're a better chew or eat if they're not dried out. And then, as I mentioned, I do have a dehydrator now. And what I have is this piece of material that sits on top of it when I throw my cookies into the dehydrator. And the reason I use this is if you didn't have it, it just sits on the wire. And with your cookies sitting on the wire, the bottom side of your cookie will dry out. So by putting it on this material, it stops your cookie from drying out. So basically, you have icing on top that is protecting it from drying out, and you have this sheet underneath it, and you can order these off of Amazon. So I have this little, what do you call it, Lazy Susan turnstile that I have for doing my cookies. And then it comes with this plastic sheet. You can also buy these at the dollar store, etc. You can always already tell I got red on there from having red on my fingers. So we're gonna get started with a cookie. So first off, I'm gonna take my bag and I'm just gonna cut off the tip of it and get rid of that plastic and see if I've got a big enough tip or not. And we're gonna start decorating our, okay, see how it's pouring out? That's what I want. And all I'm gonna do is go around the edge of my cookie. Now, because I'm doing this with a camera, it makes it a little bit harder for me to to make sure I got the color or the icing where I want it to. Okay, so there I have it. And you see how it's just flowing out really nice. It might be a little runny. I'm not sure. So now I'm just gonna fill it in. Now you can use 2 hands if you're not steady with your hands. You use one, you just place it under your wrist and it gives you a bit more balance. And you will know how much icing to put in here. So I have enough. I'm just gonna take my scribe and I'm just gonna move my icing around on my cookie. And this is where it comes in real handy because you can turn it. And I like to pull my icing right out to the edge. I don't leave a large edge uniced on the sides. And then back in here. And what I'm also doing is I'm looking for any little air bubbles. And I don't think I see any. But if I did, I would just take my scribe in and I would poke the hole to get that air bubble out of there. Otherwise, what will happen is when it dries, you get this little concave section. So what I'm gonna do is gonna ice all my strawberries because I want this to dry before I do the chocolate dip on them and before I put the little leaves on them. So I will be back. So I wanna give you a couple tips. Right now, I am living in southern BC. We've had snow and rain lately, so it is a bit cooler outside and in the house, and I don't have the heat up very high. It makes a big difference for when I'm flooding my cookies now. So what I'm actually doing is I'm flooding 3 cookies at once, and then I'm going back in and straightening them out. I'm just gonna give you some little tips and stuff and show you what you can do if something goes wrong. Now, if you keep your bag up higher from your cookie, your icing will fall better. If I go down low and do this, you will see it sort of pushes out at a weird angle. But if I lift it up, I can let the icing just drop into place. And it's smoother, and I have better control over what I'm doing. And then a lot of times you'll see people, they go all the way around the edge and, you know, make it look nice. I scribble. You know, as long as I stay inside the lines, I'm happy with that. So, there we go. I scribbled in the lines, and now I'm gonna go back. I'm not gonna be able to turn this because my feet of my stand are in the way. But I also wanna show you, right now that's where my icing is. I can actually move this and bring it down farther just by moving with my little scribe tool. And the thing that's great about this kind of weather is I don't have to work as fast. If it was hotter out, if the house was hotter, I would have to work a lot faster. So my lazy Susan here is not working right now because I have it shoved up against the stand, but I just wanted to show you how I'm manipulating this. And this is what we call flood icing because it floods our cookies. So I'm just pulling it out. And there we go. So now I'm going to show you what happens if you go over the edge. My cinnamon hearts. And we're going to go up and over the edge accidentally. See how that ran over the edge? Don't panic. All you have to do, grab your cookie, wipe your finger along the edge, and see how that brings, you might have a bit of color there, but see how the icing is brought back up? You don't need to panic about that. So let's just continue with this. And so I'm gonna touch down, pull it up, and let it drop. And you might find that it's easier to go right to left or left to right. It just depends. You do what works for you. And I mean, the first ones you're gonna make is for your family anyhow, right? So practice on them. So again, I'm not being real careful where that icing goes. Now, I don't know if you can tell, but right here I got more icing, so I'm just gonna pull it back. So you can really manipulate this and get it to do what you want it to do. And again, if I went over the edge, I could just run my finger across it, and I'm gonna leave that down, or up I should say, and this side I'm gonna pull it down farther. And then you can see I've got those holes there. I'm just gonna take my scribe in there, and I'm gonna work it in. It's better to have some empty spaces as far as I'm concerned, and then go in and manipulate your icing to get it to where you want, than having too much icing. And sometimes when you have too much icing, That'll be when it pours over the sides of your cookie as well. And then again, I'm just gonna pull it into that space. Okay, I have 3 cookies left to finish. I'll be back. Okay, so my strawberries have crusted over enough that I want to put my little seeds on. What I started doing is mixing up my brown, and I got this light color, and I thought, oh, I can use that for seeds. Then I'm not having to do another color. So I'm just gonna touch down just a little bit and pull up. Well, that didn't pull up very much. Let's see it. Now I gotta be really careful because that crust it's only crusted over. The cookie is not perfect. How does that look for a seed? I might just do that with all of them. Okay, so let's just touch down. Yep, I'm just gonna touch down and then I'm gonna pull it out with my scribe. You just try stuff and see what works. I wasn't sure, because I'm being very careful. I don't want to. And that one started to work. And so I'm just going to go in and pull it up to give myself that little seed on it. I'm really happy with how this is turning out. I mean, the seeds might be, it's not a real strawberry, right? So what we get and what works is what we're after. How's that? Not bad. So I'm going to put seeds on all the cookies and then we'll come back to add the chocolate. So I was a bit worried. I went to use the brown and there was nothing in it. But what about this? Doesn't that look like a beautiful milk chocolate? This is orange, blue, and red gave me this beautiful chocolate color. So now what I need to do is I have to be careful because the red is just crusted over. So all I'm going to do is go in here and squeeze the brown in and sort of flow around it. And then I'll have my dipped chocolate strawberries. So if you're missing a color, just find out which ones to use. And when I looked it up, it said use your primary colors, blue, red, and yellow. And then it commented that you could use orange. And I thought, okay, orange and blue. Orange and, red and yellow is going to give you orange. So I grabbed the orange, and with the blue and that, I got this really funky green color. It was actually a really pretty green color, but not what I wanted. So now I'm just gonna pull it in, move it in close to my strawberry, and just bring it in because I want it to feel in. I don't want it to be like, I want it to really flow into the red because I don't want it to look like really 2 separate entities. And then what I will do, if I have enough brown left over, when this crusts over, I will actually come in and do some, dropping it down some. So not bad, hey? Look, I'm really pleased with that. So I still have to put the leaves on it, and then I'm gonna put some white across it, like white chocolate. But I'm really happy with how it's turned out so far. Okay, I'm gonna go get the rest of these done, and then I will show you the next steps for this one. So the icing on my cookies is dry because it's sat out overnight. And now I'm just coming in with my leftover brown icing, and I'm just gonna add a bit more to my cookie. So all I'm doing is making it look like we got some dribbles coming down. And then I'll grab my scribe. I'm actually grabbing my other scribe. I'm gonna turn around here and bring it back in. Just bringing it to where I can see it. Put my glasses back on. And I'm just gonna move it over to the edge a bit more. And that just gives us that little bit extra definition on these cookies. So I'm gonna get this all done on the cookies, and then we're gonna put some leaves on our cookies. So now it is time to work on some piping icing. And so I'm going back to my big bowl of icing, and you can see like how stiff it is, right? There's no way he could do the flood with that. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cover my, let's do a bit more, because I'm gonna be doing these cookies and one other set of cookie that'll be having this green in it. So let's see, flatten it down a bit. It'll take some of the air out of it. I'm just trying to think of, I don't want to mix up more than I need, but not enough. Let's just add a little bit more. I'll probably have way more than I need, but that's how it goes. All right. And then I am going to use this here coloring because I've only got about 6 of the Maricolor. So this is just a food coloring mixture for this. And this is a moss green, and I like this color. And it's one of my favorite kind of greens. So I'm just gonna hop in here, grab some of it, and we'll give it a mix and see what color we end up with. I just love watching how the colors change with what you've got, right? It's to see what color it's ultimately gonna come out with. Oh, I just think this is the prettiest color. All right. And this is such a soft, light moss color. I want to go a bit darker, so I'm going to get some more, and I wipe off my little stick in between. And, oops, don't want that much. Let's see what we get. And like I said, it's easier to add more color than it is to try to, if you get it too much color, then try to, bring it down in color. I'm expecting this to darken up this time. And it's funny, every so often you'll get a color that just doesn't seem to darken up a lot, but I'm starting to like this. It's getting in there. And what I also have to do is sometimes the coloring will get stuck on the spoon or the spatula. So I always give it a good scrape just to make sure we don't have some intense color hidden in the spoon somewhere. And I think we're okay. And I think I want just a hint more color. It is quite surprising sometimes with some of them how much coloring you need to add to get what you want, where other times you add just a little bit. And it can change really fast too, from what you want it to getting dark really fast. So it's just one of those things. It takes time. You got to play around with it and get to what you want it to be. All right. Is this gonna do it? Okay, I think I will be satisfied with this color this time. And I don't mind actually if there's some streaking in it. Not a biggie. All right, so I'm gonna set that aside. Gonna grab, so first off, we need to add just a bit of water to this. So what you're after for piping is sort of a toothpaste consistency. So I'm just gonna give it a couple little squirts because you do want it to flow out of the bag, and we are gonna be using a tip. I have 2 tips set aside because I'm not sure which size I want to use. I have a 67 and a 68, and those are for doing leaves. I think it's still a little bit too stiff. And the fact is, once you have it in the bag, you don't want to be pushing it back out. Okay, I think that is better. So it's, it's sort of giving me a kind of a peak there, more of that toothpaste consistency. And there's my disposable icing bag. I've got my 2 tips, and I have my connector that we're going to use. So separate it into the bag, and you don't want to cut it too big, and otherwise it'll just pop right out. And my little scissors have gone AWOL, so I'm going to grab the big ones. So again, I cut mine at an angle when I cut it. I can get it. Come on. Little scissors work so much better. And let's, just want to come off my fingers. Let's see if, okay. And I'm not worried about it being over like that. I actually prefer that. And so here I think this is my 67. And I'm gonna go a bigger size. This is my 68. So I'm just gonna put that over on top and then stir that over. And this is why I like having the plastic over the edge. It's not gonna interfere with what's coming out of the tip at all. And time to fill it up. So I pulled a bag way down on this one. So I can, just because it's not going to flow in, I have to, push it in. And the thing is with this too now is I can just change out the tip at any time. And I'm just going to put it all in, then I don't have to worry about it drying. So now I can bring my bag up a bit more. Drop in there. My mother taught me you don't waste anything, scrape out your bowl good. And the fact is, there's nothing worse than getting down to the very end and going, I just need, a little teeny bit more. And you're like, I left it in the bowl. All right. There we go. Now, because this is what I call my piping thickness, I'll just push it down in there. With my other bags, I was using my pink ties. So now I'm going to grab a purple tie and just give my bag a couple of twists so it stays locked in. And then again, there's my little arrow, and I just pull it up and over that little arrow end and it locks it into place. And you can see I got some bubbles in there. I'm just going to give it a good workout here first, see if I can't get some of those squeezed out. And let's bring a cookie in here. Okay, let me show you how I am going to decorate this dipped strawberry in chocolate. Okay, I'm gonna just spin it around to myself so that I can see what I'm doing. And I'm just gonna start off here with just a little bit. And I'm just gonna do a little one like that, lay it down flat. Now, you can practice this on a piece of paper, parchment paper, whatever. And then I'm gonna go do this one up here. And I give it a little push and a wiggle and a pull. Now, I don't care if it goes over the end a bit, not a biggie. And then, and out. And then I'm gonna come in with this one on the top and just give it and a pull. There we go. So there is our strawberry dipped in chocolate. Okay, I'm just gonna finish the rest of my cookies off and then we'll get on to another cookie. And there we go, all my strawberry cookies, or my chocolate dipped strawberry cookies are done. And now I'm just gonna set them aside for them to dry. So the best thing about making sugar cookies is you can share them with others, or you can eat them and enjoy them yourself. If you learned something new in the video, or if you just liked what you learned, please be sure to click on the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye for now from My Mini Homestead.